hope our little friend. Welcome to the New Jersey Morning Show. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo.
And I'm Cara Falco. Good Friday morning to you. So we're actually unfortunately kind of starting off with some poor news. We just learned about the death of Meatloaf, rocker and actor. He was 74 years old. They have not yet released his cause of death. And then we were also just talking about Andre Talley.
Yeah, Andre Leon Talley, and just the rash of celebrity deaths in 2022.
It's been a little overwhelming. It
Yeah.
was like, well, I guess Betty White was technically 21, but
Yes,
she was like, right,
that's
it was like Betty White, Bob Saget, like, Sidney Poitier, like we just, all these legendary people.
Legendary. Very, very sad.
Yeah, definitely. So, but let's bring in our own Mike Favetta, meteorologist Mike Favetta. We'll get you a check of your New Jersey forecast. And Mike, I hear we are in for some more winter weather. I don't know. All I know is I woke up this morning and turned on the car and it said it was 8 degrees and I was not thrilled.
It wasn't lying, but it wasn't calculating the wind chill because it feels like it's below zero.
I have you both beat. My tire pressure read 4.
That's
in my back
good.
right tire. So that was bad.
Yeah, no,
that was a little worse than the wind chill.
Yes.
Always a problem. And it's that refamiliarization of looking and what do all these little lights mean on the dashboard? Because you only see them during cold weather. And here we go. A really chilly start this morning across New Jersey. Good morning, everyone. On this Friday, we have some clearing skies, but a few thin clouds that prevented us from dipping down to below zero with our actual air temperature. However, it still feels like it's -1 or -2 across most of the state. The wider view will show you outside, shows a lot of thin clouds working through at sunrise and now going in through the rest of the morning. Those clouds keep clearing out, but it's the feels like temperatures that are oh so cold. Look at some of these numbers right now up in northern New Jersey. -1 is your wind chill up in Sussex County. 0 over toward Morristown, 3 in Patterson, and -1 there at Newark Liberty International. A brutally cold morning with those northwesterly winds that were gusting all throughout the overnight, and that is what allowed for a very chilly feel to take hold. Now, you see some darker numbers here showing up. These are the wind chills out toward Long Branch, above 0, so it feels like 7 degrees right now. 8 degrees is how it feels in Toms River, and 5 degrees just southwest of Atlantic City. So a really chilly start across the state. Our high today, we'll show you some of our weather graphics for this afternoon. We climb to 26 degrees, so it warms up just a little bit, but our actual air temperature is far from the freezing mark. It'll stay well into sub-freezing territory right through this afternoon, and it gets cold again tonight. Now, some weather headlines for you. Like Cara mentioned, there's a little bit of winter weather, but most of that stays down to our south, just clipping portions of Cape May County and Atlantic County. It's not really an issue for us here in the majority of the state come tomorrow. Regarding the rest of the month, it will be a below average remainder of the month, meaning the weather stays cold right through January 30th. However, once we get into next month, there's a little bit of a milder trend on the way, and I'll talk more about that in just a bit. There's dry weather on the way for most of us this weekend, and our next chance for rain and snow comes at us on Tuesday. So the next few days, talking about cold weather. Our 3-day forecast has highs that climb into the upper 20s tomorrow only. Another cold day. We're back into the 30s on Sunday, but with extra rounds of clouds and sun, it's just going to be cold right through early next week. We'll give you some details on Tuesday's winter weather event and let you know about a little pressure wave that worked its way through New Jersey twice from that volcanic explosion underwater out near the Tonga Islands and how it made its way around the world. I'll show you that. Our weather intern John put together some Rutgers meteorology weather stations, and you can see the little blip in the pressure wave. It's really cool.
I love it. I love when we learn stuff from you, Mike. It's always something fascinating. What did we learned about an ice quake last week?
The ice quake.
I heard it.
Yep.
I heard it, and I thought of you. And I'm really looking forward to our next lesson.
Our
with
next
Professor
lesson.
Favetta.
Yes.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
Mike.
You bet.
Thanks. So First Lady Jill Biden was in New Jersey yesterday, meeting with students and families at Bergen Community College. Dr. Biden was joined by Governor Phil Murphy, where she talked about new resources and services offered to students and their families as part of the American Rescue Plan.
Joe is rebuilding our middle class. And you know what builds the middle class? Community colleges. They are one of our most powerful engines of prosperity.
Very cool. She looks so beautiful.
She looks great. You know, she's a Jersey girl.
Yes.
And she used to teach at community colleges.
And she's Italian.
And she's
she
Italian
would fit
American.
right in on this show.
Yes, yes. We'll have to see if we can give her a call, get her on.
Why not?
Yeah.
Sky's the limit.
I was gonna say, you know.
You know what's so interesting too? We didn't learn about this appearance until like hours before it happened.
Yeah.
You know, lately we've had our pulse on the news a little more than
Yes,
usual.
yes. But yeah, no. So they do. I think they kind of kept it quiet just to get her in and out, and you know. But
Yeah. Exciting for the students over there.
absolutely, yeah.
So speaking of politics, joining us now is Laura Jones, host of New Jersey Politics. Good morning, Laura.
Hi, ladies. Good to see you.
Always great to see you. Laura, let's talk about the First Lady's visit to New Jersey. She was here selling the president's American Rescue Plan. Do you think it's concerning to the White House that they need to sell the president's initiatives in a heavy blue state, although this past gubernatorial race maybe showed that that's changing?
Yeah, well, Joe Biden has had a rough couple of weeks. You know, it's been 1 year since he was inaugurated, and the polls are showing that, you know, the honeymoon is definitely over. And then when you start to watch coverage of him, you even see certain media organizations who were a little bit more friendly to him are now starting to question him, which I don't think is a bad thing. You know, I think all media, you know, should be questioning, you know, that is the point. But it's not surprising. You're asking, you know, as the White House, are they concerned, or is it concerning to come into New Jersey? I don't think so, because they're coming into friendly territory. You know, they kind of need a win, so to speak, because it has been a very, very rough couple of weeks. The poll numbers are not good. And like I said, you know, people are starting to question Joe Biden, even within his own party. A lot of things are going negative. So come to New Jersey, where even though it is a very blue state, you know, Republicans did make a lot of gains in the legislature, but Phil Murphy is a little bit more progressive. So coming into friendly territory kind of makes sense to me.
Okay. Now, Laura, Governor Murphy was sworn into his second term this week. Just a couple days later, he signed an executive order requiring healthcare workers to get their COVID-19 booster shot. Let's take a listen to what he said when he did that.
I am signing an executive order today requiring all workers in healthcare settings and high-risk congregate living facilities, including our correctional facilities, to be up to date on their vaccinations. That means both primary course and booster, with no test out option.
So yeah, Laura, we just heard him say that there's also no longer an option for people who are unvaccinated to just provide a negative test instead. How do you think this is going to sit with voters?
Yeah, well, I think that the people are going to stay divided on this. I don't think any more mandates, any more changes is going to change how people feel. You have people on one end who are very much opposed to any mandates, and then you have other people who are very much in favor. They want these mandates to happen so they can get back to life as they knew it. But I think what's more interesting about this is not so much the politics of it. I'm looking at it as policy moving forward. Will healthcare facilities moving forward, before you're hired, have these policies put in place by the different employers? You know, is there going to be a shift in policy? So before you even take a job, you know that you have to have a COVID vaccine, and then you have a booster. And then there's the question of, you know, what defines fully vaccinated. I was actually surprised myself, and I was off camera messaging Lisa. I was messaging you, surprised that my daughter, she's auditioning for colleges, and before she even auditions, and she's only 17, she has to be fully vaccinated with a booster. And that surprised me. I did a little research, and it's not uncommon. Colleges are requiring this. And I think that places are going to get policies in place. So if there's new students or if there are new employees, there won't be a question. This is the policy. This is what you sign on to. But certainly Republicans are not happy about this. And in the state legislature, they're not happy about this. And even Democrats don't like how Phil Murphy is using his executive power, because they did not extend his emergency powers. You know, Steve Sweeney on the way out, who is, you know, big rival to Governor Murphy, decided, no, we're not going to extend the powers. But then Phil Murphy was able to write his own executive order. So I think we're going to see some, maybe even hearings in the legislature to let people come out and start talking about this and what they what they say about it instead of depending on polls, because we haven't had hearings in New Jersey to hear from people and to give them that forum to talk about. You see it more at school board meetings.
Right.
Yeah. And we were talking off camera too, how overseas in England, Boris Johnson has done away all of a sudden. Okay, it's over. No masks, no mandates, no passports, done. But then in France, Austria, Australia, especially, they've cracked down even more.
They're
So,
up, yeah.
you know, again, is this about the science or is this politics? And that's where I think people are divided.
You hit the nail on the head, because even though he's done away with the mandates, who's to say a new variant might make him have to change his mind again? And that's the nature of science in general. It's fluid. It's always changing, and making a lot of policies and going out there saying once and for all, we're not going to need this ever again. Because over the summer, you know, when there's the vaccine, Joe Biden came out there and said, you know what, once you get it, you're not going to have to wear masks anymore. You're going to be fully protected. You know, he's going on the advice of his people and saying that, but saying any absolutes is very, very dangerous, because you just don't know what might be around the corner or what might happen. So that is definitely, and that's what frustrates people, is having all these absolutes. So when you have the mandate and then, you know, it comes around the summer, like Starbucks, for instance, you know, they don't need any more, there are no more mandates for their employees, but they have over 90% people who are vaccinated. So maybe that's why they're not doing it. I'm not inside Starbucks to be able to, their corporate to understand their decisions, but, you know, things are changing, and why are they changing? You know, it could be policy. And I think employers, and government, you know, when they have the mandates, it'll be interesting to see if there can be litigation, right? Because pharmaceuticals, they are not being held to the same standards, right? If something goes wrong, if you get sick, they can't be sued, right? Because we're in this global pandemic, in an emergency. But I'm curious if people can be held liable if something goes wrong. If you say, you know what, I mandate that this, that, the other has to get vaccinated, and something, you know, because people can die, you know. Will they be held liable, and how will the legal nature start to play into some of these decisions as well? So it's definitely not black and white, definitely not always science-based, and politics, you know, plays into it.
Yeah. Since day one, this thing has been a mess. So
yeah, pretty much.
No shock that in day, what is it, 1001,
Yeah,
whatever
exactly.
it is, that there's
it's still a mess.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there is one person in particular making some waves in Trenton, Senator Ed Durr, one of our state's newest state senators. He's the guy who beat Senate President Steve Sweeney. What has he been up to just a couple weeks in office, Laura?
Right. Yeah, he's in his second week in office. So this was the truck driver who spent just a few $100s and beat Senate President Steve Sweeney, longest serving Senate president, shocked people. And a lot of people are saying, hey, listen, look at what happened here. This is indicative of what might happen in the congressional midterms. I don't think people elected him necessarily because of the issues that he stood on. I think it was kind of a backlash to, we want change. We don't like how the government, how the direction is going. And it may not have necessarily even been so much Steve Sweeney, because, you know, him and Phil Murphy disagree. But people are paying attention to it. And Ed Durr right now, at this point, you know, he's still getting his footing in Trenton, and is coming out, you know, criticizing the governor, saying, I don't agree with these mandates, and let's have hearings into this, and let's have a forum where voters and where people in the state can have a say, because the governor has way too much power. I don't like these mandates. That's what he is saying.
He has all the makings of a movie.
He really does.
Right? What a screenplay you could write on this man.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes, absolutely. He really does. It's an extraordinary story, and it's one that, you know, got picked up. It's not just unique. It's not just only in New Jersey. I mean, you know, it's huge. Again, $200-300 spent in his campaign. I mean, what are the odds? I think the odds of hitting the lottery are probably better, but he did. And so what is at the issue here? Voters feeling like that they don't have a voice, and this was a way to send a message. It didn't matter who was in office. They just wanted whoever was in office out of office, and anybody but the current administration. And I think that is ultimately going to have an impact, and that story is going to be told as we head into the congressional midterm elections.
Laura Jones, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Stay.
Yes, you too. All right. Thanks again, Laura. So we have seen a surge in the Omicron variant in recent weeks, but numbers have just recently started to slow down a little bit. So how long should mask mandates stay in place? So we're not talking about your personal choice. We're talking about mandates. This week, the city of Montclair extended its indoor mask mandate through the end of March. Exceptions to the mandate include athletics and children under 2. And again, I've mentioned it before. I happen to live in Montclair, and I know, it's frustrating for people just because there's confusion because Montclair attracts a fair amount of, I don't want to necessarily say tourism, but, people from other areas come in, they don't know because it's not in place in their towns. Now the businesses have to enforce this. They look like the bad guys. It's like, it's a lot for folks.
And it's a mess. What we were saying before, how country to country, everything is different. Town to town. Morristown, New Jersey, which is 20 minutes from Montclair?
Right.
Their mayor took away the mask mandate.
Right.
Just yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's like, why, does it go just in the town of Montclair, but then avoids Morristown?
Right.
It makes no sense.
Yeah, no, there's just no, unfortunately, there's not really rhyme or reason to any of it anymore.
Nope.
Country to country, I say, countries always have had different rules that apply
Of course,
to
of course.
a number of different things. But town to town, it's like, you guys can't just pick one. I don't even care what it is anymore. Just pick one.
Yeah. And I could really care less now.
On, off, on my head, I don't care.
Yeah.
Just tell me what to do. All right, Lisa, next up, New Jersey inventors with an appealing product that landed them on Shark Tank. They will talk to them.
And you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who is going to be on the show. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Watch OSDIA interviews live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. and celebrate the best of Italian American culture. Each week, we will feature an exclusive interview with a prominent Italian American from around the country. You can watch OSDIA interviews live on Optimum 61, Verizon 530, or stream live from anywhere on News12.plus. For more on Order Sons and Daughters of Italy in America, visit osaya.org and follow along on social media.
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's take a look at some headlines from across the state. Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman announced $496 million in disaster funding to complete a flood control project in Greenbrook. Now, that project was needed after the devastating flooding from Hurricane Ida. And then the spring semester for New Jersey's community colleges starts this week. Sussex County Community College, speaking of differences, will start the spring semester with 2 weeks of virtual learning because of COVID-19. All the others in person. And a new law addresses a shortage of paramedics in New Jersey. The law allows volunteer paramedics to respond to emergencies and operate within mobile intensive care units. And you can now fly to Chicago from Trenton Mercer Airport. Frontier Airlines has announced 13 new routes, including one from Chicago Midway International to Trenton. So I feel like a trip to Chicago might be in the works. I was talking about pizza with somebody. It was probably Andrew Cottle yesterday. I have never eaten a Chicago deep dish in Chicago. I've had the pizza, but I've never gone there to have it. I feel like that I'm overdue for that trip.
I've heard good and bad.
Yeah, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to. Because it's so different from New York.
And I guess it has like a cornmeal taste.
I think they dust it with, yeah. You need like a hearty crust to hold all that.
Yeah, the closest I've ever had was Pizzeria Uno, remember?
Oh my God.
They were by the Willowbrook Mall.
Kids, yes.
And I liked that pizza.
Yeah. All right, well, let's bring in our other favorite foodie, meteorologist Mike Favetta. We'll get to your forecast in just a minute. Chicago deep dish, have you ever
I'm going to send this to friends, lifelong friends in Chicago, and they're going to be like, really? Pizza Uno at the Willowbrook Mall? Come on. Route 46? Come on.
That's all that's available here in
This is
I
true.
shouldn't say that. No,
I
there
think
are
there's still-
people doing good things.
And
but-
there's still a Pizzeria Uno on Route 3 in Clifton.
Yeah. it's out
Oh,
there.
that's right. There is.
There is.
I haven't been there lately, but
Yeah. I know that
Clearly,
they.
you've been to Chicago and had deep dish pizza.
I've never been. Never
No?
been. Want to
telling you,
go.
we need
It's
to make
on
a
the
field
list.
trip happen.
Might just have to fly out through Trenton Mercer Airport.
Through Trenton.
Not right now. It's very windy and cold.
Yeah, no, we'll wait till it warms up.
Very windy, very cold. Yes. We had some interesting weather last Saturday morning. Maybe woke up, you saw the news that there was a volcanic explosion that sent debris 30 miles high into the atmosphere out by the islands of Tonga. And this, actually, because my sister lives in Hawaii, her phone was littered with text messages from the Hawaiian government, the local Hawaiian government, with all of the tsunami advisories. And we had some tsunami alerts even reach the west coast of the mainland U.S. But if you were up early on Saturday morning, maybe if you noticed, you're watching some of the weather stations, there was a little bit of a blip in the pressure, and that was because of the shockwave that came through. First, I want to show you the picture of what this looked like from space, a large plume of ash and debris. This is from satellite. It's the Japanese weather satellite. They're looking at the Pacific Ocean, and here's where that little bit of the debris reached up 30 miles high. So really incredible. This picture from Simon, a fellow over at Oxford University, just showing how big that plume was. Now, how this registered here locally, we'll bring over to the volcano shockwave graphic, and you see two charts here, both from Rutgers in Middlesex County in New Brunswick, showing a shockwave at around 10 a.m. on Saturday that the pressure sensor picked up that, you typically gives us our pressure for the weather. And then a second one as that shockwave encircled the Earth. Another, that would be about 14 hours later at 12 a.m., midnight on Sunday. So incredible that big eruption actually made the air move all the way on the other side of the planet. Wild stuff. We've got some cold weather on tap for the rest of today here in New Jersey. Our forecast points to mostly sunny skies, but it will feel very chilly with actual highs in the 20s, but feeling like the teens and single digits most of the day. We've got another round of cold weather on tap for the weekend. We'll give you that part of the forecast coming up with your town-by-town weekend weather. And, of course, take a peek of the 7-day forecast. It's right here on NJ On Air.
Thank you, Mike.
You bet.
So interesting.
I'm such a nerd. I'm completely fascinated with volcanoes and earthquakes, and I think this is so interesting. Terrifying.
It is,
but
yeah,
interesting.
because it's never been seen, at least in the satellite record. The first weather satellites were launched in the 1970s, the ones that at least I could see stuff like this, and there's no record of anything like this happening in satellite recorded history. So very interesting
just
to see.
to watch it is like, oh my god, the power, the magnitude, the whole thing. It's incredible.
So speaking of earthquakes, do you remember the one New Jersey got in 2011? In the summer?
Okay, I know that we've had earthquakes. I have not once felt one. Apparently, I'm a very deep sleeper, or like
No, this happened, Mike. I'm sure you remember. It happened in the middle of the day.
This is the one in Virginia that we felt in New
Yes,
Jersey?
that we felt. And I was working out of my home at the time, and I thought like a big tractor trailer like drove by and like shook the house. So like I got up and it was still shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was like a 2-point-something on the Richter scale.
Right, but it was just enough to make my car move. I was on Route 10, again, stuck in traffic, typical Jersey story.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the car started moving like it was a really windy day. But I had the top down and I'm like, there's no wind. What is that?
So
and so
weird.
And there it was. And then you couldn't call anybody because the phone lines were all jammed. for
Yes.
the next 20
I
minutes.
mean, I guess it's like when people make fun of us when we have a hurricane, like when Florida's like, you think that's a hurricane?
Yeah, exactly.
Probably Californians watching this are like, really? A 2.0, whatever?
yeah, they're like,
But
what?
it's so scary. I can't imagine a legit earthquake.
Like a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Hopefully we never experience that here.
Hopefully.
All right, Mike. Thanks so
Thanks,
much.
Mike.
We always learn such fascinating stuff from Mike. I always enjoy it.
And we never know where the conversation's going to go.
No, exactly. It's something. There's always science and food, and we always manage to swing the two.
Yeah.
Well, here we go again. Speaking of food, a new kitchen gadget, Banana Loca, was on an episode of Shark Tank. Joining us now is one of the inventors, Renee Heath, who is also from New Jersey. Renee, good morning.
Good morning to you, ladies.
So I don't know if you watch the show at all, but we love food here. So we're always excited to have people who do cool stuff with food on. How did you come up with this idea? This thing cores and fills a banana?
Yes. I mean, kids are being told all the time to stay out of the kitchen. It's like, don't touch hot or watch out, that's sharp. So we wanted to create an invention that includes the kids in the kitchen and gets them into good cooking and healthy eating habits.
That is so cool. Can you show us how it works?
Absolutely. So you take that banana. I like straighter the better. I know a lot of them are shaped really curvy like a smile. You can get brown or green, but I try to use the really great yellow ones. And we go ahead and we straighten the banana so that way we can core it all the way through. So we go ahead and put the core in. And what we do is we actually give it a little twist to break off that core. We cover for the suction, and then we pull out. So what we're able to do is then fill the banana with whatever you want. I love Nutella. A lot of people love peanut butter. There's yogurt, jams and jellies, honey, fluff. Oh, the possibilities are really endless. So you're going to want to take a scoop of whatever you fancy, put it into the hopper, and go ahead and push out until you see the filling come out of the very tip of the nozzle there. Take your cored banana, put it on the nozzle, and when you push down, just let the filling do its job and push the banana out as you push down. And then you have a banana that is perfectly cored and full of Nutella.
Wow. That is so cool.
Now, what obstacles did you have to overcome in the product development? And I always think about this when I see or hear about people inventing that, because the idea is one thing. Like it sounds like you have kids yourself.
I'm actually pregnant right now.
Oh, there you go.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yay, congratulations. So I feel like, it's one of those things like, necessity is the mother of all invention, where you're like, you know what we need this thing. But then you're like, how do I find the people who do the plastics? How do I find somebody to mold and produce this for me?
Yeah, it originally started because I have 15 nieces and nephews.
Wow.
And I was giving them snacks where I was slicing up the bananas and then trying to put the peanut butter and Nutella on top. And it was like a slip and slide. It was going everywhere. And then those little suckers get like suction cupped to the plate. So it was really hard for the kids to pick them up. And then it would be all over their hands, right? So it would go on their clothes, it would go on the cushion. So I'm like, there has to be a better way. And definitely there were some challenges when it came to the design of the product. It's really, really hard to get viscous material like thicker peanut butter or Nutella through a very narrow channel. So we actually partnered with an industrial design firm to come up with a whole bunch of different ideas. And this is what came out.
Well, I could already tell you're going to be an excellent mother because I'm only 10 months in, but I think the number one piece of advice is you have to always be creative.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In handling their moods and their attention, their ADD and everything. So you got that on lock. So I am an avid viewer of Shark Tank. I don't know if you are.
I'm not an avid viewer. I certainly know of the show, but I'm not watching all the time.
Well, I am very impressed because, in my opinion, the two hardest sharks to get a deal from is Mark Cuban and Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary. And you got investment from both of them. Talk about that.
I'm not going to lie. I was a little terrified of walking into the tank. It's a big studio. There's a whole bunch of camera and lights, and you just want to make the best impression possible. We actually had our mascot named Loca come to the show with us. So it was nice in terms of having like a hype banana with us. But I think it broke the ice with the sharks and put a smile on their face like the minute we walked in the door.
I love that. Well, congratulations, because it's a huge accomplishment. I've seen, like I said, many episodes where, especially those two, they have no mercy.
Yeah.
They will tell you right off the bat of your idea. Like Kevin has been known to be like, go in the back and shoot it if he hated the idea. So again, the fact that you won over both of them, you're my hero.
Aw, thank you so much.
That is awesome. Renee, one last thing. Where can we find Banana Loca?
Yes. So Banana Loca, it's on Amazon right now, and we're selling at bananaloca.com on our website.
Very nice. Renee, thank you so much. We appreciate your time this morning. You have yourself a great weekend with stuffed bananas.
Take care.
Bye. Nutella would be my go-to with that.
I think, Nutella and or peanut butter, maybe a combination of the two.
Imagine marshmallow. That's probably good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then you got to wrap them in foil and put them over fire. Like, you know me, I have to come up. I'm like, I need something. There needs to be more.
No, I'm good with just that. First of all, you have cooked with me. I would probably screw that whole thing up.
You would not. You did just fine.
I don't know. You've seen me crack eggs. Anyway, what's the one thing the Jersey Shore is missing?
Possibly more Snooki.
Oh, there you go. Snooki from MTV's Jersey Shore is opening a store. Where else? At the Jersey Shore. Her Snooki Shop boutique will open on the Boulevard in Seaside Heights in the spring. Her first store is already open in Madison.
How the Seaside Heights location was not the first location is beyond me.
Well,
it's the most logical thing.
Snooki is a resident of Florham Park.
Well, yeah.
So I guess that makes sense. We're neighbors. So congratulations to my neighbor.
I just feel like for the branding, you had to put it in Seaside Heights.
Know.
You had to.
Well, good for her. The legend of Snooki
lives
continues
on.
to grow.
It lives on. Listen, so this is kind of cool for, Snooki and everybody else alike, I think. A new law is allowing towns to designate open container areas. So what does that mean? It means you can walk around those areas while enjoying an alcoholic beverage. Now, the open container zones were first used to support small businesses at the start of the pandemic. So this is, I think we heard a lot more about this coming out of New York City, where, you could basically walk up or drive through a bar and get your drinks to go. So New Jersey kind of did something similar. I think Atlantic City took advantage of it the most, where they basically said, okay, the boardwalk in AC is now an open carry, area. So you could go to one of the restaurants, get a drink, and walk the boardwalk with your beer or your beverage, what have you.
I think it's a good idea, and it's going to promote, I think, more community events. We covered Oktoberfest in Roselle Park, and how fun was that?
It was great.
Yeah, the whole town was there. They had the beer garden set up. I know I do the Columbus Day Parade in East Hanover, and we've always toyed with the idea of doing a wine garden at the end of the parade route, but to get permits was a pain. Now that's something that we can do this October.
Right, it's going to be a little easier because the municipality itself can say, yeah, sure, that area, this parking lot, whatever it's going to be, is your open container zone.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah. So coming up next, Lisa, we are talking Giants football with Anthony Paradiso from Jersey Sporting News.
Yeah, speaking of needing a drink, talking about them.
Those poor guys.
Oh, boy. You can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who is going to be on the show and much more. Be sure to check us out and click follow.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? You can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
It's me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Swing the hips.
Oh boy, they weren't kidding.
Whoop.
You're looking for a gold crown?
Sure. So you say you're helping people through. How are you doing that?
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's take a look at some headlines around New Jersey. Governor Phil Murphy says he hopes to lift the mask mandate in schools before the end of the school year. Murphy said if the numbers for COVID continue to trend downward, there's a real shot. Hopefully that doesn't come to bite him.
I'm just saying, let's, like we said, just pick one.
Yeah, exactly. First Lady Jill Biden was in New Jersey yesterday. She visited Bergen County Community College to announce millions in new federal funding for colleges and universities across the country. Jersey native Jon Stewart will receive the Kennedy Center's Mark Twain Award for Lifetime Achievement in Comedy. Stewart grew up in Lawrenceville. Very cool. Congratulations to him.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's bring in meteorologist Mike Favetta, who always has us laughing as well and learning as we learn about our New Jersey weather forecast. I don't know why I'm tongue-tied all of a sudden.
You're frozen. It's brain
I'm frozen.
Yeah.
It's the 8-degree weather.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's teeth-chattering weather. When you step outside this morning, maybe start the car a little early, let it get warm, because this cold weather sticks around throughout this afternoon. But we get another reinforcing shot of very cold air later tonight into tomorrow that will make it feel once more like the single digits for your Saturday morning. A frigid Saturday ahead. But I've got some good and warmer news for you. The monthly outlook was released yesterday by the Weather Service, a division of the Climate Prediction Center. And see a lot of orange and yellow on this map, especially across the East Coast. Well, that's some good news, because there is a better than 50-50 chance that we will have above average temperatures going into February. Now, to be clear, above average temperatures only mean, according to the Climate Prediction Center, a degree or two. So it's not going to be tropical this February, but it may be slightly milder than expected and then average. And typically we average in the mid-30s throughout most of February. Late January into early February, that is the coldest part of the winter for us here in New Jersey. So we are entering, well, what is the coldest part of the year? So this should give you a little bit of hope for some milder weather upcoming. Because when you see the weekend forecast for tomorrow and Sunday, is really no hope for that warm air. Look out tomorrow. We are stuck in the 20s in Morristown. Your high of 23 degrees will feel like the teens with a little bit of wind. Sunday climbs to around the freezing mark. A little bit milder as well for Sunday in Newark, getting up all the way to 34 degrees. Chilly as well in Belmar. 28 degrees is your high tomorrow, climbing to 35 on Sunday. Trenton, Camden, Atlantic City all holding below that freezing mark tomorrow. Once more creeping just above into the mid-30s for Sunday. The 7-day forecast doesn't do much better in terms of finding some mild air. It's still cold throughout most of next week. Even with Monday and Tuesday dipping down into the teens overnight, we could see some rain and snow potential by Tuesday late in the day, and that would eventually transition to another round of cold air come next week. So temperatures running slightly below average going through the rest of January, but I think there will be hopefully some light at the end of the tunnel, warming us back into just above average territory come February. We'll take another check of that 7-day forecast coming up for you and see if we can find a little bit more warm air as we enter the coldest part of the year, the coldest part of winter, and there could be a little round of snow by Tuesday. More importantly, there are signals for a round of winter weather by next weekend. So we'll see if that comes to fruition a whole 8 days from now.
Yeah. Filling up my tire this morning. Yeah. I had no gloves, and I just kept thinking to myself, why am I not in Florida? Why don't I live in Florida? This is brutal. This is
Alligators. You could have had an alligator come and help you fill up the tire. That's why you're not in Florida.
At least it'd be warm.
Touche.
Oh.
That's what you think. No alligators, no earthquakes.
No
alligators,
no
no hurricanes.
Well, we've been getting more of those, unfortunately. Yeah. Mike, thank you very much.
The New York Giants are deep into their general manager and head coach search. Joining us now to update us on their progress is Anthony Paradiso from Jersey Sports News. Anthony, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Lisa Marie and Cara, how are you?
Great. Love the glasses.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anthony, rumors are that the Giants will be making their GM pick today. What are you hearing?
Yeah, so they've narrowed it down to 3 candidates: Adam Peters, Joe Schoen, and Ryan Poles of the Kansas City Chiefs organization. So Adam Peters is the front runner right now. He spent 19 years as an NFL executive. He was a part of the Patriots organization for 6 seasons, including 2 Super Bowl teams. He was a part of the Broncos organization for 8 seasons, including the 2016 Super Bowl champs. And most recently, he spent the last 4 years with the 49ers. So the 49ers, the year before he got there, were 4-12. Then 2 years later, they were 13-3. And now this year, they're in the divisional round of the playoffs. So that speaks very highly of Adam Peters. And I think the Giants should lean in his direction.
Yeah, I would take those numbers, especially after the decade of terrible football.
Seriously.
We need something. Yeah. So it's surprising to hear, though, that they've also interviewed head coaching candidates. Reports say that they spoke with Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. But John Mara was vocal in saying that the GM will be allowed full reign to make that pick. So what are your thoughts on these mixed signals?
Well, that's an interesting point there. You know, it's been said that the Giants want to hire a GM and coach who maybe know each other. And, there's plenty of candidates from the Bills, 49ers, and Chiefs organizations. There's Eric Bieniemy, who's the offensive coordinator of the Chiefs. And we all know he's had a lot of success recently, winning the Super Bowl 2 years ago and tutoring Patrick Mahomes, who won an MVP in his rookie season with Bieniemy as the coordinator. But there's also Dan Quinn, who was recently the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys. And he's also from Morristown, New Jersey. Yes, he grew up there and he graduated from Morristown High School in 1989. He was a defensive lineman, and we all know that the Giants defensive line has seen better days, going back to the days of Michael Strahan and Justin Tuck, O.C. Umenyiora, and the like. So I think those are two interesting candidates. And let's not discount Brian Flores, who just got fired by the Miami Dolphins dubiously after, beating the Patriots in their last game of the season. So I think that, Brian Flores is from Brooklyn. That's very close. Certainly the Giants would be near and dear to his heart, and we'll see how they decide to go about things. But those are three strong candidates that I see right now.
Yeah, I totally do not agree with the firing of Brian Flores. That's puzzling to me. But at the same time, what don't we know? He is part of the Bill Belichick coaching tree. We just had someone from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. Didn't work out. So, there's a lot to break down, but I think Giants fans would like the general manager to take the reins and make that decision. So let's see what happens today.
Yeah, exactly. Good point.
So, Anthony, we're going to shift to college sports. Rutgers basketball had a huge win over Iowa on Wednesday. Can you break that one down for us?
Yes, a 48-46 win in any semi-professional sport or near the professional ranks. I mean, it was incredible. Their defense obviously played very well. I think they were very strong in the paint in that game, and they outmuscled Iowa, who is 8th in the Big Ten, and Rutgers is now 4th after that win. Rutgers has also been on a bit of a roll. They've won 7 out of their last 9 games, and it is mostly in conference games. And the Big Ten is considered one of the strongest basketball conferences. So Rutgers has been on a bit of a roll after a bit of a shaky start.
Yeah. And I read somewhere that actually this was the first time that Iowa had been held under 50 points since 2019.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, the score just stood out to me. I mean, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkably low.
But so despite success for Rutgers in men's basketball as well as women's soccer, the school kind of posted some financial losses. USA Today reported that despite spending $118 million on athletics, they only generated $45 million in revenue. How can Rutgers make up that deficit?
Let's get the football team to get back to a bowl game and win one for the first time since 2006 when Shiano was the head coach the first time around.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you need your premier programs to step up and be what they say they are. So, let's see if they can get that rolling again. I think, the Rutgers football team has been stuck in a rut, no pun intended, but, I think that they got to get things rolling again. The basketball team has been impressive lately. And so if Steve Peichel can continue doing the job he's done, and it all points in that direction this year. They have 2 big seniors, who are looking to solidify themselves this year in their legacy.
Yeah. I know, and a lot of that report kind of said that, the pandemic kind of kept, the stadiums and the arenas empty. So they weren't getting the ticket sales, the food revenue, just from people physically being there.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I'm not sure exactly how much that would make up for the money that they're putting in, which
Mm-hmm.
is millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I think that they want, broadcasting money. They want, yes, the ticket sales too. I'm not really sure how they can make up for it. I think, honestly, they need to be more frugal with their spending, perhaps on the head coaches, dare I say. I think I read in that article that there was a sharp increase from around $4 million to, 20 in the head coach's salary. So I think that, I think they could shore up things there.
Yeah, I know that the spending on athletics at Rutgers has always been an issue for the non-athlete students who kind of feel a little slighted, like, hey, our programs could use a little something too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what about volleyball? I love watching volleyball. How about you? Those sports too deserve a little love too. We can't just put all our eggs in one basket.
All the money into football and basketball. Yeah, absolutely. Anthony, thank you so much for joining us. And again, folks, for more sports news, head to Garden State's for Garden State Sports News, visit jerseysportingnews.com. Anthony, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
So a Clifton company has been selected to assemble and manufacture the opening ceremony parkas for the 2022 U.S. Olympic and Paralympic teams. Now, Ralph Lauren is the official outfitter for Team USA, and they have chosen manufacturer Better Team USA, which has been in business for over 40 years. So I think that's cool because I remember that was an issue in the past where, Team USA's gear was not made in the USA.
It was made in China?
It was made in China, and they were kind of like, can you have to pick something else. Bring that back. So that's cool that they brought it right back here to New Jersey.
I can't wait for the Olympics.
Really?
Yeah, I love summer and winter Olympics. I love the whole thing.
Yeah, you know what? I think these Winter Olympics, I'm probably going to be more inclined to watch just in terms of there's not a whole lot else going on these days. So hopefully they do pretty well, but it is always something to see.
Yeah, figure skating, that's my go-to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the downhill skiing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, the toboggan, that's always fun.
Yes. Yeah. We should go get ourselves a toboggan and see what kind of damage we can cause.
It would be worse than stuffing the banana for me.
All right, guys, listen, you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We'll keep you updated on who's going to be on the show. Check us out. Click follow.
The American Lung Association invites you to join us outside in 2021 for our Fight for Air Climb events. Now more than ever, we need you in the fight for clean air and healthy lungs. Let's go outside and climb, because every step counts. Visit us at lung.org.
Swing the hips.
Oh boy, they weren't kidding.
Whoop.
You're looking for a gold crown.
Sure. So you say you're helping people through. How are you doing that?
Welcome back to the New Jersey Morning Show. Let's check in with meteorologist Mike Favetta on your New Jersey weather forecast.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no Mike.
We're missing him.
Well, newsflash. It's very cold
It's
outside.
very cold. And it's going to stay that way for the rest of the week.
Yeah.
We'll check with Mike in just a little bit. I think we do have Nadia, though, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so better diet, more exercise, sit at the top of many people's New Year's resolutions list. But for most of us, we've already broken it. Joining us now is someone who can certainly help us get back on track, Nadia Murdoch, a mindset and movement expert. Good morning, Nadia.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we're so happy that we can hear you. Yes. So listen, before we dive into your offerings, from your perspective, why is it so hard for people to even just start a diet or a fitness routine?
I think it's hard because of the pressure that you put on yourself, right? You make the goals way too big, and therefore you're setting yourself up for all this success, and you want it so fast and you want it immediately. And when it doesn't happen at the pace that you want it to happen, you start to get discouraged. And then you may start playing the comparison game, but like so-and-so started, how come I'm not where that person is? And it can become a downward spiral from there.
Yeah. So you currently have your core program, which provides accountability for the mind and body. What does that entail?
So I find that the most success is when you feel supported, right? And not only supported by me, but supported by the community that you're in. like-minded people that are going along the journey right alongside with you. So through Core, that's what you get. It's all virtual. I have 2 live workouts a week. I have on-demand videos that you can do in between our live workouts. I have meditations that you can do to help reset, especially during this tough time. And then I also have live chats where I bring on different professionals in different arenas, from mindset to nutrition. And it just helps to motivate you and helps you to stick with it.
Yeah, and Nadia, so you had talked a little bit about mindset. You offer mindset coaching. Talk about that kind of support and why that's important for your clients.
Yeah, thanks for asking that, because I think that's part of it, right? The mind and body is connected. And oftentimes we're only focusing on the physical. We're only focusing on getting a sweat in or building muscle. But oftentimes we're neglecting our mind, and therefore we're not paying attention to how things feel or how you feel about yourself. And the stronger that you feel about yourself, the more likely you are to pursue certain things, build that confidence. And I think it's very important to have that as part of my program. And that's why I offer that. So we do weekly check-ins. We talk about how you're feeling, because oftentimes we're not sharing how we're feeling. And therefore that can really manifest in the body through stress. And so that's very.
Uh-oh. Well, we lost Nadia there.
No, we got her.
We have Nadia. Okay. And we're back.
No, but Nadia, I love what you were talking about, because it sounds like you really kind of take a holistic approach to this whole thing, and it's something that I've actually studied as well. And I know, like you said, if people don't, one, nutrition and fitness is very personal.
Yeah.
So what works for one person may not work for the other. Exactly. And like you said, you have to do those check-ins. Like, okay, you eliminated gluten from your diet. Well, how do you feel? Because if you feel like garbage, it's not helping you.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? Like I always, clients come to me and they're like, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I always ask why. What is your why? And if you're not tapping into that reason, then you also don't know why you're doing it. And if you don't know why you're doing it, you're most likely not going to stick to it. So I always say, don't pick a superficial why. Like, yes, if you want to lose weight, that's great. But if you want to run a marathon, or if you want to be able to play with your kids, or if you want to lower your cholesterol, if the why is more closer to your heart, you're more likely to stick to it and then go further and challenge yourself in ways that you never thought you could.
Yeah, Nadia, you are a mother of 2. How do you make time to get fitness in? Because, having kids, it's so hard to get on any kind of routine.
Yeah.
At least I have found that.
Yeah. So it is hard. I'm not going to lie, but I feel also the internal conversations you have within yourself, if you keep telling yourself it's hard, then that's all you're going to see, right? But if you see, oh, okay, I'm on the floor, I could do jumping jacks with my kid right now and squeeze in fitness. That's another thing. Fitness does not have to be an hour. It could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and that's sprinkled throughout the day. You've got your movement in. And so I feel like if we reframe what fitness looks like for you, you'll find that you're moving your body in many ways that you didn't think you were, or you can find ways to move your body in many ways that you didn't think you could.
Yeah. Where can people find out more about you and your core program?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Nadia Murdoch, or you can check out my website, NadiaMurdochFit.com, and you can reach out to me and I'll be happy to connect with you.
Nadia, thank you so much for joining us and connecting with us this morning. I love your message. I love what you're doing. I think that's great. So again, it's NadiaMurdochFit.com. You have yourself a great weekend. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you, ladies. Have a great day.
Thanks, Nadia. Now we have meteorologist Mike Favetta for our last check on the weather. How you
We've
doing,
got a
Mike?
great cold day ahead. Some Arctic weather coming at us. So grab the extra big cup of coffee, maybe some soup. I'm sure Cara's Cucina has some recipes there.
Yeah, there was definitely, I'm not going to lie, there was chicken broth in this mug earlier.
That's it. Something to keep you warm, because it's chilly all around New Jersey, and it stays cold into tonight and tomorrow. The 7-day forecast doesn't provide some warmth either. In fact, it's cold through next week with a chance of snow by Tuesday. Could be mixed with some rain, with temperatures going just above freezing. But until then, cold again tonight. Chilly throughout tomorrow, warming a little bit by Sunday, just making it above the freezing mark, but we're back in the freezer for Monday, and then there's our chance of rain-snow mix by Tuesday. Now, while Wednesday and Thursday of next week right now look calm and cold with some sunshine, I think by then we may be watching our next storm potential offshore. That comes in about 8 days from now, so by next Saturday, there could be our next winter weather event, but it's very far away, especially for us to tell. The weather pressure system that would give us that potential storm is right now over the South Pacific. So there's a lot that has to happen in order for that to actually materialize. So we're not too concerned about it just yet. Just keep in the back of your mind, it's winter, we're flexible, and we could have these winter weather events pop up as the week progresses. We've got more weather coming up for you. Of course, you can always catch the forecast on njonair.com. But for now, stay warm, everybody, because it's a cold weekend ahead. We get through this week, and we look to be a little bit milder by February, so we're excited about that.
Great. So in your long-term forecasting, do you think we're going to have a spell of weather where, like last year, when we first came together, like every other day was a snowstorm?
So in February, that was a pattern that was rather unusual, that we had those every 3 days. We had another snow event.
Yeah.
If we get locked into one of those patterns, yeah, we could see some active weather upcoming, but just due to the global weather patterns, with it being a La Nina year, it's unlikely that will happen at least this February.
All right, good.
You know she's going to hold you to that, Mike.
Yeah, I know she is.
Yeah, mostly it won't happen in February. It'll happen in April.
Or they say March, pazzo marzo, right? That's the one where it really starts to get wild.
Yeah.
I know.
Exactly.
I know.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. And thank you all at home for joining us. That does it for this week's edition of the New Jersey Morning Show. We so appreciate your time. You guys have yourself a great weekend, and we'll see you on social media.
Yeah. You can follow us on NJ Morning Show, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check out who's going to be on the show, plus watch clips from today and much more. See you next week.